boy Yule.
I'm Margaret.
And this is Can We Talk About It?
And we're here today with two very special guests. Oh, thank you.
3 special guests.
Yes, 3 special guests.
It's
One of them
soy
is serving
sauce.
us food. He is the most special. We're here with Steven and, oh my God,
It's Rina.
Rina.
It's not, oh my god.
Rina, what is your full name, Rina?
Rina Samsonovska.
Yes.
This is very funny because I actually told Rina, I was like, oh yeah, my mother's family is from Russia, then proceeded to completely butcher her name every time that I said it. I am so sorry. I'm sorry to my ancestors and I'm sorry to Rina. Let's keep going. So that's how I feel about it too. So we're here with
Good crowd work right there. That was good crowd. You saw what was happening and you responded to it. That's all you
Thank
gotta
you.
do.
I'm actually, a blossoming comedian myself, of sorts. No, but we're here with them today. They are both comedians, and we're going to talk with them about a very special show that they have coming up July 6th. But first, just tell us about, your comedy careers, and how you got started kind of organizing your own shows and any other projects you both might be involved with right now.
Yeah, for sure. We basically both did a show called The Industry Room over at Broadway Comedy Club before the apocalypse, and it got us some more shows. It actually got Rina. Did you get passed?
Yes.
So Rina got passed. That's a very special thing for comics. It means they're like a contract employee of the club. They get more shows. It's very cool. And after the pandemic, I reached out to the booker and said, what opportunities are there? And he said, well, we need people to do shows. And I said, I want to do it. That sounds fun. And then I reached out to Rina, and the booker said, oh, thank God you're doing it with her, because I kind of didn't trust you to do it yourself. So it's been great. Yeah.
Boring story.
During the pandemic, we were doing an Instagram live show where we would do a bit where we would kind of not make fun of, but we would redo Weekend Update and do news jokes. And so when I brought it up to her, she goes, oh, well, we have to call it Fake News Comedy Show and redo that in real life. And
Oh,
There we go.
there we go.
Fake news with love from Russia. For me, it was like, if I'm gonna do this show, if not, I'm gonna send back to Russia. So I had to do it. I had no choice.
Wow.
Those were the terms?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Russia or show?
Either fake news or gulag.
Well, I'm glad you're here with us. And
Yeah.
that is July 6th, you guys have an upcoming show, and it's partnered with the Headstrong Project. What is the Headstrong Project, firstly, and how did you guys partner with them? And how that happened?
The Headstrong Project is run by veterans for veterans to help deal with mental health. A lot of our veterans are coming back from service with PTSD, with other major mental health issues. And if you look back in history all the way back to the Revolutionary War, America's always kind of stood back from helping out their veterans. There was in fact a revolt by some of the veterans against George Washington, like right after, right? So much stuff that we don't learn in school. I just learned it by goofing around on Wikipedia one day. If you look at the statistics, a major issue, especially for Black and Hispanic Americans, they end up having a higher percentage coming back with PTSD compared to the percentage that make up the percentage that makes up the military. So it's I don't know, it's just a scary thing. Both of my grandfathers were in the military. I would have been, I think it's called F4. I wouldn't have made it in. I have scoliosis, asthma, ADHD. So I never even tried. Plus, I'm not good at running, so it would have been a bad combination for me to run away. So Matt McCoy, another comic, actually is part of Headstrong Project. So we had reached out to him, and I'm good friends with Pete Stegemeyer, another comic who's a veteran, and there's just a large group of veterans here in the city, and they all, continue to do their best to support veterans here in the city and any charity work that they can do to help out. We had this nice little spot where we can kind of do whatever we want. We've been allowed to really do whatever we want. I mean, that show's not a typical comedy show, so we wanted to just take a week around July 4th and kind of, put some money back towards that.
Very cool. And all the proceeds from the show are going.
All of the tickets and any donations are going to be going to it. The bar would still go to the club.
What do you feel is like the significance that you have in, not just that this show, like the proceeds are going to the veterans, but you have an all veteran lineup?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first off, I'm giving veterans work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to be funny. I was trying to make a joke, but
Oh.
fair enough. Fair enough.
But also true.
It's so weird. It wasn't funny because it was true. Right? So no, I
A true
mean,
patriot. No.
yeah. I think it's really amazing that so many veterans come back to the United States, and there are so many different jobs they could possibly do. A lot of them come back and they do find careers in the arts and in working as creatives. And I think it's really important. We've moved away from the arts and schooling. There's less funding for that as we move forward. And comedy's about generally taking something painful or bad and trying to put a spin on it that's fun, that we can all smile at for a second, because the world is horrible.
Yeah.
It's an awful place full of awful things, and we just need that relief. So
It's like a cheaper option for therapy.
Yeah.
The New York State health is expensive.
Don't even get me started on this one.
Okay.
Back home, it's socialism. Everybody has insurance. You don't have to worry about this.
Right.
Here, I just don't understand what's going on.
Yo, neither do we. So what do you think it's important for people to know about veterans and maybe the specific mental health issues that they deal with that the general populace might just not really be aware of? Like, this sounds so stupid, but I had no idea that people could be triggered by fireworks. It's something I never thought about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's very fair.
Not a continuity error. We just had sushi minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Perfect. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Do you need me to repeat the
No.
question?
No.
Okay.
So I just throw out a metaphor, because something I didn't really understand was when someone's drowning, it doesn't look like what they make it on the movies. There's not a lot of throwing their arms around. A lot of times they have their mouths open and they're not making any noise, and they're just staring out. When people are suffering from mental health, a lot of times we can't see it. There's no way to tell, and what's even worse is your family and your friends don't know. And there was a professional goalie in the NHL who got his throat slashed by a skate and ended up having PTSD for years. And no one thought, PTSD can happen to regular people too. Well, not that professional goalies are regular, but but a lot of times family and friends won't know that something's happening. A lot of times the person with a mental health issue won't know that an issue's happening. And so it's really important to have organizations like Headstrong helping out what the VA is already doing, because they're inundated. And I've had family work for the VA. They are filled with a lot of people that want to help, but a lot of times there's too much bureaucracy for them to get to things, where they don't have the money to do what they want to do. So this sort of outreach is just incredibly helpful and can do so much.
So, question: what do you see as the relationship between comedy and mental wellness?
For me, there's no disconnection. I have ADHD and depression. I used to do improv comedy. I moved from Chicago to Florida to run my family's health food store. Fell in love with that industry, and then moved up here to do improv and run a business selling to health food stores. And it turned out I didn't have time, and so for like 8 or 9 years, I was just working. I didn't have time to do improv, and a friend finally pointed out, you can do stand-up by yourself. You don't need to go meet up with a team to to rehearse. You don't need to meet up with a team to do shows. And that really opened it up, and I started noticing my stress in a different way when I started writing, and I started caring a little bit more about myself, and I got more serious. I had a yoga practice that I got more serious about once I started doing comedy again. I wasn't comfortable doing medications, and I finally went and got medication, and that's helped my life. I think the act of creating comedy makes you really look into yourself and say, who am I? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, now I constantly notice horrible thoughts that I have where I'm like so embarrassed about it. I'm like, why do I have that thought? And I know everybody has, stupid, horrible, embarrassing thoughts, but it really...
All the time.
it really, just having a creative practice, whatever that is, running a podcast. I'm sure you all have both discovered amazing things about yourself that you wouldn't know. It really helps with that.
I was gonna say amazing, yeah, but
Mediocre at best. No.
yes,
We just discovered you'd never had sake through
That's
the podcast.
true.
Yeah.
Cheers.
There you go.
And now I'm having it for the second
All right,
time.
let's do it.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Straight from the
Oh,
bottle.
all right.
Okay.
There you go.
It's not COVID anymore. I guess it's safe.
I keep doing it like a shot. I know you're not supposed to do
It feels like a shot. It's in a shot glass.
But
And
yeah.
Yeah.
the same for me. Like, I moved to United States when I was very young, so I feel like I never processed that part of my life because I moved by myself with no family and no money in my pocket. I walked all the way from Russia with no shoes, and comedy helped me in a lot of sense. Like, I'm pretty, like, generally, surprisingly, I'm very bad at organizing my thoughts and passing it on to other people. So comedy, when you write things, you really do organize how you feel about a lot of things, and it is therapy because you, at the end of the day, you laugh at that and find something positive in bad things.
Yeah.
Comedy is great.
Very true. Very true. Thank you both for sharing.
Yeah. And then just to wrap up, is there anything specific you'd want to tell everybody about the comics? Like any comics in particular that you think, I'm sure they're all great, but if there's like a standout person that you feel like they're going to see if they come to the show on July 6th, if you had to pick a favorite? Or just, any additional information about...
Pete Stegemeyer is really fun to smoke cigars with.
Okay.
Pete Stegemeyer is one of the major reasons we're doing the show, because I kept saying, I'm going to have you on. And I was like, why don't we do this bigger thing? So Pete Stegemeyer has a podcast called I Can Steal That, where he has people come on and he tells them a historical story about a major robbery or about a con man that happened. I've been on a couple of times, usually for some reason to talk about French robberies. It's always about, I'm not French,
That's super
but
niche.
yeah.
You know a lot about French robbery?
No, like he'll tell me what we're gonna do, and I'll look on Wikipedia, and then he's done all the research, and then every once in a while I'll be like, did you know this? And he's like, yeah, I didn't think it was important enough, but all right, nice. And it's a lot of fun. It's a great one. Billy Joe Gillespie is actually coming into town from Boulder, Colorado.
Wow.
She's dealt with a lot. She's had like a very stressful, emotional life. Not PTSD, but mental health has been a really important part of her life. So that's really exciting. I met her through Zoom comedy, and we just had such a nice connection. Me, this awkward Jew from Florida, and her, a lesbian military veteran from Colorado.
Two peas in a pod.
Yeah. I just love talking to her. Like she's so fun. It is like two peas in a pod. It's so weird. But I mean, every single comic's amazing. Jim Tooze has been featured in the New York Times. Jess Miller's coming down from Massachusetts. She has her own comedy club up there. Lynette Palladino's amazing. I mean, one of the cool things that we try to do on every show is we only get comics that are better than me and not as good as Rinoska. So they're all going to be at least better than me, which is, pretty good.
From what I saw tonight, that's a good standard.
Thank you so much.
Pretty good.
How much do you want?
Bra.
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm really excited for that group. What I usually tell the group of comics when they get there. I like to tell all of them. I just want to let you guys know this is the most sexually attractive group of comics I've ever put together for a
Yes.
show.
It's
And if
so
I'm hosting,
embarrassing.
I keep telling the audience, I'm like, guys, hope you're ready for some fucking sexually attractive comics. Yeah, I don't know. Who doesn't want to be sexually attractive?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
a good start.
Nuns maybe, I guess.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe not nuns, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. But, that's the selling point. Maybe you won't laugh, but you will get turned on on July 6th. So there we go.
Can we say that about the show you saw tonight? You guys, are you saying that you guys did get turned on at the show?
Semi-trope.
Yes. Definitely.
Half right there.
One.
I made a comic laugh. I'm fine.
You did. You did make a comic laugh tonight.
I'm honored. No. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you guys to plug, yourselves, any other projects you have going on, your social media, where people can find you.
Greenwich Fake News Comedy Show at
Greenwich Village Comedy Club.com at 7:30.
That was good,
Perfect.
guys. Yes.
I'm Renovska. You can find me on social media at Renovska.
Fake News Comedy Show. My name is Stephen Cohen, and you can find me on Instagram as Monkey in Heaven.
Well,
Thank you guys so much, and
Yeah.
we are really looking forward to the show July 6th.
July
And
6th. Be there.
yes,
And if you don't come to the show, I break your legs.
And it means you
That's
hate.
a threat and a promise.
It means you hate the veterans.
that is true. Don't not be a patriot around July 4th.
Hey, you like your legs? Huh?
Yeah.
You want to keep your legs?